you finish this off? I'm swapping X and Y.
You write the rest of the problem?
Yeah, so what comes after the X?
So equals.
Yeah. And then what goes here?
X minus
Well,
Y. I mean,
am I not switching?
oh, X to Y.
So yeah, so Y, and then what?
Minus 1.
Squared, and then what?
Minus 7.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Okay, now Amar, are you there?
Yes.
All right, so in step 3, we are solving for Y, okay? So how do I get rid of this 7? What's the opposite of minus 7?
Positive.
Yeah, so plus 7 on both sides. So X plus 7 equals Y minus 1 quantity squared. Now, do you remember the opposite of a square?
No.
So the opposite of a square is a square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And then this square cancels that square root out. So I'm going to have the square root of X plus 7 equals Y minus 1. Now, how do I get rid of this negative 1?
X minus 1.
What's the opposite of minus 1?
Positive.
Yeah, so plus 1 plus 1. So I get that the square root of X plus 7 plus 1 on the outside of the square root equals Y.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Amar. Navre, are you here? Monica? Tyrell, text me the last step. Okay. Jakeem? Jamie? Jamie, are you here?
Yeah.
Perfect. What's the very last step? How do I do step 4?
You change the Y to F.
Yeah. F inverse, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have the square root of X plus 7 plus 1. All right. Thank you very much, Jamie. All right. And that would be my final answer there. This is my final answer over here. All right. What questions do you guys have about inverse functions? Okay. So that is it for inverse functions. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Hopefully you guys can repeat those processes again. We are moving on to domain and range today. So on Canvas, there should be a document, 2 documents that we're supposed to go through today. One of them looks like this, okay? It's going to be the set notation document. And the other one looks like this. This is our sticky note graph document, okay? You can follow along and write either of these out on notebook paper. That's totally fine with me. We're going to start with the set notation, okay? So this is 3rd period. Okay. And we're going to talk about domain and range, all right? So interval notation is probably what you're most familiar with. All right, and we're going to work with just a little number line to work on what your notation will look like for each domain and range. So here we have an open circle and an open circle on either end between 0 and 7. Does anybody know which bracket I use for the open circle? This is something from Math 2. How do I denote an open circle in interval notation? Anybody? Okay, so an open circle like this is going to use, so uses an open parenthesis, okay, or a less than sign, okay? If you have a closed circle, we're going to use a closed or square bracket or the less than or equal to sign, okay? You also could have the opposite side in here, okay? But these two don't have to match. You could start with a round, end with a square, okay? So for this particular number line right here, we have values from 0 to 7, and we're going to use an open circle or an open parenthesis or a round parenthesis on both ends. So these are open or round parentheses, and these are closed or square brackets, okay? This one is less than, this one is less, oops, sorry. Less than or equal to, okay? So that's what these guys mean. All right, so in our interval notation, we have from 0 to 7. We have open brackets or round brackets on either side. Now for set notation, we have little curly braces on either end. So we're going to start off with a curly brace. And you're going to have X, because those are your X's. So you'll use X when you have domain, Y when you have range. And this bar right here means such that. So we're taking X's such that the X value is less than 7 and bigger than 0. Okay. All right. What questions do you guys have on that first one and how we notated them? Okay, so for the next one, we are given this interval notation, but we aren't given the graph, so we need to draw it out. So we need to go from -3 to +6. Okay, we have square brackets, which means I need to have closed circles. So my closed circles, okay? And we're going everything between -3 and +6. Okay, so that's what this notation means. When we write this in set notation, we would have X's such that -3 is less than or equal to X, which is less than or equal to 6. So this time we use the less than or equal to signs, okay, because we have closed dots and closed braces, and we go between -3 and 6. So what questions do you guys have on that second one? Okay, so I've done the first two for you. I'm going to start calling on people now. So here we have X is such that X is less than 2, okay, or -2, or X is greater than 10, okay? So let's see. Jason, are you here? Jason. Katie?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first spot is going to be at -2. Am I going to have an open or closed circle at -2?
Open.
Perfect. So I'm going to put an open circle right here. And then it says X is less than -2. So should my arrow point to the left or should it go to the right?
To
We're looking.
the right.
So we're looking for less than. X is less than, so smaller than -2. So which direction gives us smaller numbers?
To the left.
Yeah, to the left. Very good. Okay, so we're going to draw in our line and our little arrow right there. Okay, so the X is less than -2. Now it has X is greater than 10. So my next one is going to be at 10. Am I going to have an open or closed circle?
Open.
Very good. And these are X is greater than 10. Okay, so which direction is my arrow going to go this time?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got that. All right. And then this next part, thank you very much, Katie. For interval notation, I'm going to show you because it gets a little complicated. Okay, so we're going, so it says X is less than -2, which means everything to the left of -2. So we're going all the way to -infinity. So from -infinity to -2 is where we're going. We do not include -2, so we use the round bracket. And then whenever we have an infinity, we also always use the round bracket because infinity isn't a finite number. Okay, so that's one section of our interval notation, but then we have to add it to another section. So we're going to use this symbol called a union symbol. So this means union, which really just means that we're adding the two sets together. Okay. Then we're going from 10 all the way to infinity because we want every number bigger than 10. Infinity gets a round bracket and 10 gets a round bracket. Okay, so that will be the interval notation for that problem. What questions do you guys have?
So the union would be like if the line is not like connected.
Exactly, yes. When you have two separate pieces, two or more separate pieces.
Okay.
Perfect. I'm going to write that down because that was really good. So when you have two or more sections on your number line. Perfect. Okay, for this next one, let's see. Daisy, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, so am I gonna have, let's start with the interval notation. Am I gonna use a square or a round brace when I have a closed circle?
Brace.
Which one, the square or round?
The square.
Perfect. So I need a square, okay? And I need it around my 2, but my values go to the left of -2, which means I'm going to go all the way to -infinity. And we said that infinity always gets the round brace. When it goes up to -2, this time instead of a round brace, we're going to put the square because it's closed. Okay? Again, we have two sections here. Daisy, can you try to tell me what the next one will be?
I don't know.
So what number do we start at?
7.
Yeah, and then do I have a square or round brace around the 7?
The square.
Yep. And then what number am I going out to?
Maybe
forever,
infinity.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what number do we put down?
Infinity.
Yeah. And then infinity, does infinity get a square or round brace?
The round.
Perfect. Okay. That would be our interval notation for this one. And for our set notation, we would say X is such that X is less than or equal to -2, or X is greater than or equal to +7. And then close our brace. Okay, what questions do you guys have about that? Okay, so we're going to stop there for a